It's Christmas! Well, no, it's technically Halloween. So, but today we get to unbox and set up the wood lathe. So, let's go figure this out. Okay, well, before we can get started on this, and just like Christmas when you were a kid, before you got to open your presents, your bedroom had to be clean. And this shop is it's an absolute disaster. I got about 7 projects going. Speaking of projects, I was in the hot tub last night with the wife, and we're just sitting there relaxing and chilling, and she doesn't even move. She just goes, so, how much of that Hardy board do we have left? God, I love her. So it looks like I'm going to have another project coming up here, but that probably won't be till the spring. Unless she wants me to start tomorrow. But today, we are going to unbox and set up the lathe. But first, let's clean up this shop. Before we get started, there's a couple things I want to clear up. I made some comments last time in the last video during the selection of the wood lathe that wasn't going to run to Harbor Freight and buy a wood lathe. Now, having said that, I'm sure that some of you saw this behind me and says, look, he says he doesn't use Harbor Freight. I use a lot of Harbor Freight stuff. When you need a tool that's just good enough, Harbor Freight. Anyway, and as a matter of fact, my #1 Harbor Freight tool is this. It's a shoehorn. Yep, I keep it by the back door inside the garage before I go into the house. We live out here in the country and we've got snow, mud, animals, and stickers. So the shoes you wear outside don't go inside, and this helps put them on when you come back outside. Okay, sort of an endorsement, but not a paid sponsor. Okay, I've told you about my glasses, and they're from DeWalt, and they've got the little bifocal things in it. And if I see a good tool that I think is exceptional, I'll mention it. Now, I was watching a YouTube, imagine that, and an ad came up for something. It was designed and made by an Air Force mechanic, a former Air Force mechanic. I'm former Air Force. 3 of my daughters were in the Air Force. 2 are still in, as a matter of fact. And my first wife was in for 36 years. Currently, I have a nephew that's at the academy. So I got to give a shout out to anybody in the Air Force that I think does good. So this guy came up with something called the grip mat. And I got to tell you, I paid for this with my own money. Well, my wife paid for it because it was my birthday present. I think this thing is great. It's these silicone trays. When you work on stuff, it's just out working on the Safari. I threw this up over the engine, threw all my stuff in it. It was great. And this particular one that we bought has 3 sizes in it, and comes with a sticker. So I don't know where I'm going to put the sticker yet, including this really big one. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but I've got it, so chances are pretty good I'll find something for it. Anyway, sort of an endorsement, not a paid endorsement. This was bought with our own family money from my wife. Okay, now that we've got this out of the way, what I want to do is I want to start bringing boxes in and setting stuff up. We're going to go over the little stuff first, and I'm going to try to give you an explanation on why I chose each item. Okay, do a quick unboxing, go through the stuff real quick. I'll do a lot of cutting and editing because, you know, it can be time consuming. Okay, let's do it. Okay, these are going to be in no particular order because I haven't opened this stuff up yet, and I don't know what's in each box, and I may have forgotten some of the stuff I actually bought. So let's get at it. And again, back with the razor blade, because I can't find a box opener. Well, I got some CA glue accelerator. I hope I bought CA glue. And the CA accelerator, I've seen a lot of people use this stuff, and I've never used it myself. Long time ago. Good. CA glue. We used to use it building prototypes and stuff like that. I didn't do it because, you know, they didn't let me near the tools for, you know, I was management, so they didn't want to have to redo my work. Center finder. Now, I've seen a couple of people use these, and it made a lot of sense because, you know, people with short-term memory issues, you measure, you go to get the other side to measure, and you've already forgot what the first one was. So that's good. Now, I bought the Delta chuck. Why? Because I bought a Delta lathe. So this is a 46-461. Interesting. I bought the chuck, but the live center on the other end. I didn't buy a Delta. Don't ask me why. I just did. Speaking of which, here's the chuck for the other end. It is a PSI woodworking. Sounds legit. TM32. And again, I've never used this stuff before, so I'm going to have to kind of figure out how things go. Oh, before I show you this, I want to show you this. I bought some Porter cable, name recognition, so they'll sell good after I pass. Forstner bits. Haven't used Forstner bits. I do some woodworking, but I'm just not that good. But I bought myself a set of Forstner bits. Always wanted them. Had that budget. It's in the budget. It fit. Forstner Bit Extension. Who can't use an extension? I mean, come on. So, going and doing vases. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need one. The first vase I ever made, I didn't have a wood lathe, and it was for my daughter for her wedding, and God bless her, she still has it, but it's ugly as sin. And I didn't have the Forstner bits, didn't have the extension, so I couldn't get down in there to... I'm gonna make it right. What was that guy, Holmes on Holmes? Remember that show? Yeah, gonna make it right. Okay, now this is kind of cool. Because you know, I want to do bases. So, when I was doing, she's daughter number 3, I don't want to use their names. Daughter number 3's vase. I had a problem. What do you put in it so that water doesn't just absorb into it and leak out? So I think, remembering back then, I think I used fiberglass resin. Not the actual mat, just filled it with that stuff. But I saw it really cool, and I don't know how this is going to show up, but I saw a woodworker on YouTube, and he put these glass tubes in. To me, why not? So I got some of those, and I think they're going to work out great. I'm looking forward to that. This is kind of heavy. I'm missing a box. Am I missing a box? I think I'm missing a box. I don't know. We'll find out here. Unless they're in here. And I'll be honest, I bought everything on Amazon. And I got this other little, here's another shameful plug for something that I get no money for. There's an app called Honey. And what it does, it runs in the background. When you go to buy something, it tells you if you're overpaying or not. So, anyway, I was able to, being careful on Amazon, find some fairly decent prices on everything. Okay, I bought a face shield. And this is a Bionics, Uvex Bionic shield. I needed one. Okay, I do other work that involves metal fabrication. That I'm actually not bad at. And I go through face shields. Okay, and I use a lot of those DeWalt glasses too there also. So I got myself a face shield, and here's the part that I think I wasn't sure I had or not. And this is kind of, why did I go this route? Okay, apparently when you turn wood, you need these tools, these special tools. And there's the traditional bowl gouges and type that you have to sharpen. Well, if you buy those, you have to then buy all the sharpening stuff. I've never been good at sharpening stuff. They make little fixtures and stuff that turn and rotate, so I'm sure they're wonderful. That's one side of the thought process. The other side of the thought process was, well, I think this might be the way things are headed. And it reminded me, I used to be in the aircraft industry, and I used to read Aviation Week and Space Technology every day for lunch. And I just remember the struggles of when, reading about the struggles when pilots went from a center stick to a side electronic stick. And so I was sitting there thinking, okay, so I go get the traditional tools, I start using those, I learn to sharpen them, and I just transition into carbide tools. So instead, what I did is I just jumped straight into carbide. I mean, if I'm going to learn, I might as well learn with what could possibly be the future tool, which is the carbide tools. You don't have to sharpen them. Again, having just said that, I do a lot of caveats. Having just said that, I saw a guy take his carbide bits on like a diamond whetstone and sharpen them. That I may do. So here's the dilemma. I gotta figure out how to open these up and show them to you. And I gotta figure that out. So anyway, what I bought was, oh, these are made, oh, also I bought these because these are actually made in the United States. Okay. There's other companies that you can buy stuff for 88% off. Okay. Something tells me they're not a union shop in the U.S. So Anyway, so I went with carbide. I'm going to explain and go into more on this when I'm actually starting to cut wood, because I'll talk about it a lot now and I'll talk about it a lot then. So let's just cut that and we'll just talk about it then. Okay? Anyway, this is all the little stuff. And down in the description, I will put this list again. I put it on the first video during the selection process. I'll put this down below as to what I bought and what I paid for it. Okay? So let's move on to the big stuff now. Okay, I've decided to do the unboxing of the lathe and the leg assembly, or the lathe and the leg assembly on time lapse. Okay, it's gonna be a process. Again, I've never done it before, so I got to figure everything out, and it'll just bore you to tears. And you'll see my mistakes in real time and make fun of me. So I'll just skip that, and I'm gonna get started. Well, I did it. I unboxed it. I got it all set up. And you're about ready to find out that I am not a paid sponsor. Had some issues. Wrote them down because, you know, I use notes. Thought I did my due diligence on this. I knew it was owned by a Taiwan-based company. But I thought I read that they were made in South Carolina. One of the data points why I bought this unit was that it was supposed to be an American-made unit. It's not. It's made in Taiwan. It's a whole nother issue we're going to get to in a minute. From a packaging standpoint, packaging's good. It was double boxed, plenty of insulation in it. It did not have any damage. Zero. No paint damage, nothing. Kudos. Had a little problem with the instructions. Someone in the shipping packing department got a little carried away. And they put tape on the instructions, which, of course, tore a hole in the instructions. Not that it's important, it's just assembly step 1 and 2 are gone. You know, the basis where you start. Also, the stand in the pictures and the instructions, it's not the same stand. Slight different, but, you know, I pick up on these things. Feet. The base of the unit, the feet. The way they're attached, it's a threaded foot with a nut that you lock down. They didn't provide washers for the top, which hurts the stability of the unit. Now, is it a stable unit? Yeah, but it's brand new. Give it a couple years of vibration and see what that does to it. Another problem with the feet, they're not welded nut inserts. They're not welded nuts on the back. They punched the metal and threaded it. Again, long term, hardware, short. They say put 3 bolts in the bottom piece on each side. If you do that, you come up short here. So you're short about 4 bolts and nut washer assembly. So again, short on washers. And in my opinion, they're short a couple bolts too. Positive, they use lock nuts instead of lock washers. I never like lock washers. The lock nuts worked good, everything tightened down. It'll work. Initially I thought it was a little short, and I still think it's a little short. Of course, now that I read the instructions, you can buy an extension kit to raise this up a little bit more. I used to be 6 foot. I'm 60 now. I'm not quite 6 foot anymore, and I think this is a couple inches short. So for North American males, it's a couple inches too short. Could I build a 2x4 stand, put underneath it? Yeah. Could I buy their extension? Yeah. Haven't decided what I'm going to do there yet. Haven't powered it up yet. I got it plugged in, but I haven't flipped the switch yet. So here's a live first smoke test. It turns and it's quiet. So we're good there. Can I start turning wood? No. And this is the real disappointing part. You know, it's a $2 part. The screw that locks down the tool rest, that's all the way in. And this is your tool stop. Delta. So anyway, hopefully I can get these issues resolved and quickly, and I can get to turning some wood. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. It's got a few problems. Overall, I mean, if I was to give this a grade, I started unpacking it, said, made in Taiwan, not made in the States. A, not an A+. Start putting it together, start seeing the hardware issues. The feet, immediately dropped it to a B. Short on hardware, my opinion. B-. Tool stop, can't use it. I live in the middle of nowhere, you know. Amazon Prime next day out here is like 2 or 3 days sometimes, so C-. Haven't even turned wood yet. I'm down to C- here. So, anybody from Delta watching this? It's the little things. It really is the little things. But we'll get this figured out. We made progress today. We got the unit assembled. We got it unboxed. We got it assembled. We've got all the tools lined up over here. A couple minor little glitches. We'll get it figured out. It's not perfection, but it is progress. Well, I just tried to contact Delta. The product registration site, it doesn't work. Called them. You know, everyone's got call centers nowadays, right? Left a message. So I went on the, sent him a message. So I sent him a message in 2 to 3 business days. It's Saturday. Remember when you were a kid, you just waited for that toy for Christmas? You opened it up. Batteries not included. I could modify this and make it work. But that's not the